we will write a freestyle. We will try to, we will be do the freestyle job. Then we will write the pipeline for the same thing. Okay. For that, to create a pipeline, first of all, to create a freestyle job, first thing is we should have some basic project. My Maven project. Okay. This is a freestyle job, and just clicked on OK here. Okay. Let it create, and it is asking all of the details. But let me check whether my GitHub has any of the Java project which I can do something. Okay, looks like this is a Maven project, and CD specific to things. XML. Yeah, what we do is we'll just do a clean compile and package it. This is what we will do it. And this is the, assuming this is my project which I need to create a Jenkins job for that. What I've done is, let's configure a new job, and this is the job name is my Maven project. This is freestyle Maven project. This is a GitHub related. I can mention this is a GitHub URL, and this is a Git. In the source code, see, there are multiple sections here. If someone if someone asks you to, like, what is exactly the a freestyle job means, a freestyle job is one of the job in the Jenkins jobs, and which will help us to integrate a multiple tools in this freestyle job, and which contains multiple phases, like general section where we can give a metadata about a pipeline, and the second one is a source code management, where we can give our GitHub details along with the credentials. And the next one is the build triggers, which we will define when we should be triggering this job. Okay, and what are the factors or what are the triggering points for to trigger this build. The build environment is the place where we will be mentioning what kind of a tools that we should be using in order to build it. And the next one is the build steps to compile and create a project or install it, test it. We will be mentioning all these steps here. And at the post build action, we will be defining what are the steps need to be done after building a project, like whether should we publish the test report, test result, and everything. Okay, remember these are the standard structure, all these. And by learning this, and then we will start implementing in the pipeline, meaning in the pipeline also we'll try to implement all these phases, but not through UI like the freestyle. We will define through command, code based basically. Okay, and this is this credentials are this one, and I don't have any specific restrictions about the branch. Please take master as this one, and I don't want any triggering as of now, because we will see when this trigger will, currently we will trigger it manually. Okay, if it is a poll SCM for every 10 minutes, you can trigger, you can schedule a cron for this. This is also fine. Now let's go with that. And it's not anything related to, and also this is fine. Under here, we should be seeing invoke top level mark. Okay, clean, compile, install, package. There are 4 phases. Such I just given all these 4 in a single shot. That's why I see these are the Maven goals. I have added all these in one things. And in the post build action, I can just give a git publish saying that I don't require just compiled successfully. This is just I mean, even we can remove this also, but fine. But as of now, in the post build action, what else we can do? Advantages, archive the build on other project. This is where you can link to another Jenkins job instead of stopping here itself. Okay, email notification. For this, we have to set up the email server, GitHub status. Let's do if there is any something here. Okay, but fine, we can ignore also, because currently we do not require all this. Just give it the Git publisher. We may succeed or not, because few more configuration we require. But let this as it is. Let it fail or success. Then we'll see it. Okay. I just created a save here. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on build now. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one. I just clicked on status console output. Let's keep on going it. Let's see whether it's able to download and compile. The best important thing is, guys, following this console output. That would give you, debug information if you faced any issues. Okay. See what it is this. Okay, meanwhile, what I want to start is let it go, because it will take some time also, because it has to download all the Maven related packages, libraries and everything. Okay, so it will take some time. Meanwhile, what I want to what we have just done is we have created we have configured the multiple phases with the Jenkins job. Okay, now we need to talk about pipeline part. This is very important. Okay. Yeah, this is the pipeline here. So the thing is, as I mentioned here, there are two things in the pipeline. One is a scripted pipeline, another one is a declarative pipeline. So these are the two things which are being present in the pipeline. If you ask me what are these pipelines or what is a general pipeline, what are these two pipelines? Pipeline is basically a programmatic scripting language which you would be writing for an automating some manual tasks, okay, especially in application release management. The way how you write script is a two ways. One is declarative way, another one is a scripted pipeline. Okay. Initially, the scripted pipeline is the one when Jenkins has the open source, meaning earlier declarative was not being present. Only the scripted pipeline is present. The scripted pipeline is kind of it is, right, shell script or Perl script or Groovy script. Not like Groovy, I could say. These are the some of the scripting languages. The scripted pipeline is also exactly like this way. Okay. But in case of declarative pipeline, what will be there is, first you would be declaring it, then you use it. For example, if you might heard about the C language, right, where the first portion is we have to declare the existing variables or functions. Then you created definitions for that. Then you would use it. Okay. First you're declaring it, then you defining it, and then you are calling it. Okay, this is the pattern if you want to write any C program. This is a declarative programming language. In a similar fashion, if you are writing a declarative pipeline for the Jenkins, you have to define something, then you use it. Okay, that is the major difference between the declarative and scripted pipeline here. Okay, and one more thing is you would be creating a Jenkins file. Under the Jenkins file, you would write a declarative pipeline or, scripted pipeline. This is how you define. I mean, why they have mentioned this pipeline to be there is because you can't create a separate repository for the entire project. For example, this is my project here. And for this my project, if I want any Jenkins pipeline, what I need to do is Either I need to create a separate repository for this and then maintain the Jenkins related configuration or Jenkins related pipeline separately. One way. Instead of that, what they have given is one of the features. This was the case when Jenkins was made as an open source. Later on, the popularity of the Jenkins is very high. So what they have done is they have given a features to integrate with the any of the project. What they are suggesting is in your source code, that source code can be any language, either Java, Maven, Python, Groovy, Golang, or anything. You just create a one file called Jenkins file with the exact name, and then you define your scripted pipeline here. Okay, this is nothing but a scripted pipeline. See, you are first defining things, you are defining the properties, you are defining the stages, and then stage is nothing but whatever you just created here. Let me open. This is compiling it and then doing a lot of other stuff. Let it go. Whatever the Maven process that we just created here. Okay. Under this, reconfigure it. Reconfigure it here. These are the phases, right? These are the phases. If you open here, where is this? Yeah, this is the phases. Okay. Check out HCM phase, read param space, stage, Maven compile phase, package space, artifact phase, phase, test results phase, deploying phase, and some testing phase. Okay, these are the phases of this pipeline has. In our pipeline, we do have only 6 phases, which are general. Okay, so similarly, this is how we define a multiple phases in our Jenkins pipeline here. This is a scripted pipeline. If you ask me how the declarative pipeline, I'll show you. If you see something, I'll show you and then we'll talk. I'm just opening 2 random open source projects here, and then this is what the things here. Okay, so this is a declarative pipeline. Hey, I'm defining a pipeline. For this pipeline, I'm using agent, and it has a multiple stages. So this is a declarative. You are declaring and then saying, and then you are asking us to do some work. In this case, mnd package, clean package, something. Here, in the scripted pipeline, you defined with or you started with the node. Okay, what is meant by node here is, in this case, we'll mention current node. Node is nothing but a system or server which Jenkins is running. Okay, in this node, you define you have defined all these, and these are the properties, and these are the phases. This is a scripted pipeline. This is a declarative pipeline. Okay, this one has came later, and everyone is adopting easily when they have introduced the declarative pipeline, because it is easier than the scripted pipeline. Okay, so that is the main reason everyone has been following. Now also we would be focusing on the declarative pipeline than scripted pipeline. But the thing is, you have to understand, if someone has shared an existing project or existing Jenkins file, you have to understand what kind of a pipeline it is. Is it a declarative or is it a declarative pipeline or scripted pipeline? You have to understand by just saying the first or 2 lines of the code itself. Okay, if it is a scripted pipeline, you will start with a node. If it is a declarative, it will start with the pipeline. Okay. Now, one more thing is, another one is, here. This is a declarative pipeline. We will learn in a minute. Okay. What we do is, we just don't do and explain. We'll try to write it on our pad, and then we'll do it here. Okay. This is the scripted pipeline. Okay. This is a scripted pipeline. This is how you would be defining here. One thing is, I want to understand one more thing here. Yeah, the first one. Let's understand the syntax out of it. whether it is a scripter or declarative. First, you have to understand the syntax out of it and then see here. Okay. First, let's see. Try to use any of the coding editor, mostly either Atom, which is a lightweighted, either use Visual Studio or any of the IDE for your development work. Okay. So first thing is you can create a one file. For example, you can mention Jenkins file. Okay. And this should be under the desktop. Under the desktop, here you would be finding Jenkins file. Here is the one. Okay. And the thing is, now first thing is, let's start writing declarative pipeline. First, you would define your pipeline. Under that, you would be defining agent. This could be any. Why we have defined agent is, this is how you have to define agent. I mean, this is how the syntax. If you write a declarative pipeline, you should first define a pipeline block. Under the pipeline block, you have to tell which agent it has to be run. If you remember, we just talked like master slave architecture, something, right? This is in by default in nature. We have to define which agent it has to run this pipeline. Okay, for now I'm saying use any of the agent. It doesn't matter. If you want any specific information about any particular thing, right? Again, define a block for agent. It will have some information called label. For example, mine is Naren agent. We don't do generally like this. What we do is Java worker. This is my node name. This is my agent name. If I have configured something like that, you would be defining your agent. Currently, I don't have any agent, so that's why I just given here. And the next one is steps, not the steps here. Basically, you would be defining the stages here. Where is happening? Stages block. Under the stages block, I do have a multiple stages. The first stage is general info. And the next stage is SCM config. And the next stage is build config. And the next stage is post build actions. You can define whatever you want the phase names, but currently my pipeline will have a these many phases. First, you have to clearly have a good idea or good understanding about how many phases you require for your pipeline. I required this pipeline. I'm just using. I just want to display saying that okay, sh space. This is general info phase. Here I'm defining what I have used. Asset means for this phase use sh module. Sh means a secured shell, which is it is going to execute this particular line in a command prompt or terminal of this mission of this agent. Agent can be anything. And at the same time, I'm defining one more variable called, for example, name equal to, for example, pipeline. Okay, this is my name. I'm just going to use it again using sh module, saying that this is how I define of all this stuff here. Okay, in this stage, what I'm just gone is I just define some description and just displaying a some. This is a general information, and then define a one variable. and just printed that variable here. What is meant by sh means by default sh means a secured shell. Whatever the value that you have given for the sh will be executed via the command prompt, which means a shell script. Okay. Okay, this is one of the variable you just define here. Like this, you would be filling all your stages information here. Okay, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back again and then try to understand here. Okay, this is the pipeline you just have to define in your declarative. Okay, with the block. In this block, you have to define. See here in the pipelines. In the pipeline, there are multiple sections here. Okay, the first section is agent section, and then parameter sections. One minute. After where is that? Yeah, one minute. After parameter sections, we would be defining some of the options, which is where we can define all of the information. And the next one is post section, where we will be defining when this has to be executed. Okay. This is a simple declarative. First thing is a pipeline block. Under the pipeline block, the first section is agent section, and the next one is the stages section. Under the stages section, you would have a post section. These many sections you would be having it here. Under the agent, you can give any means it will pick a randomly if you have a multiple agents has been configured. If you don't have anything, put any. That would be enough. Okay. Let's see what are the properties values will be there for this agent. How to define if we have an agent here. I'll show you. Yeah. Agent section is type is required. Yes. If you create a pipeline, you definitely need to define a variable called agent. Otherwise, it won't work for you. Okay. It is a type as a parameter. Required as yes. Okay. And there are two ways that you can define agents. One is a top level agent and another one is a stage level agent. Okay. And the top level agent is like you would be just defining stages any, and then you would provide us some of the options for that agent. Okay. Stage events means don't use any agent, because I'm going to define for each stage on which agent I have to use it here. If you define here under the top level agent, we just not define anything here. And in the child level agent, we just defined at the stage level here. Meaning for this example stage, use this agent and with this configuration. Let me show you another one. Show you another stage. Yeah, see, this is another one. This is how you would be defining a different stages, different agents for the different phases. For the example build phase, they are using a Docker agent. For example, test phase, they are using a OpenJDK. This is how they can define a two multiple agents for each individual phases. Okay. If you don't want, you can directly give a top level agent to any. So all these stages will be executed in this agent. Okay. Guys, is it clear? Because this is a basic thing here. So if you understand the structure of a pipeline, you would easily understand when you read some open source project, or even it will be easy if you want to write your own pipeline. First, you have to understand the outline, how the pipeline can be, how many phases, and all this you can define and then understand it. I want a confirmation, guys. Is it clear? Because this is the basic and this is the place where we have to stress and spending the time, right? I want a confirmation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, what I'm gonna do is not like otherwise, I'm gonna do it right away. I will be opening one of the declarative pipeline, and then I want to read it out. Okay, let's take an example here. Can someone guys read or explain me about this? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this and then paste it here. Okay. Let me put it this way. Okay. Now, can you read out me or can you explain me what is this? Exactly, Sandeep. Agents acts like a slave mission. Let me put this way. Instead of doing that, what I can do is Jenkins master slave. I'll just go and directly do this way instead of trying it here. Okay. Here is the thing. Let's take an example here. Okay. Here on the right side, you would see a Jenkins master. Masters means where you have installed the Jenkins. That is, for example, I have installed the Jenkins in my Ubuntu machine. That is my master of a Jenkins. Okay. What you do is if you create another three pipeline, I mean another three virtual machines and provide them or configure those with this master. So these are called as a slaves. Slaves means master will always have a configuration or orchestrate it or manage it. Okay. But the slaves is the persons who will do the actual work. Meaning, for example, you are running this pipeline here, right? This pipeline, the actual job, since we are running our pipeline in the master node, our job is running on the master node itself. But if we have a slaves here, right? The job that we just ran could be run any of these slaves. Okay. This is how you would be defining in your pipeline. Agent is Windows slave, agent Apple OS, agent Linux slave. So like this you can configure your agent information under this pipeline like this. Where is this guy? Yeah. What this guy is saying, hey, use one agent as a Docker, and for the Docker, use this maven and provide these arguments. So what it is saying is, since we do have our system, our master slave, when you don't configure any of the agent, it will run the job here itself. Okay, the process. But since you define agent as a Docker, what we'll use is it will pull the Docker image into your local machine, run the actual job inside your container. That container again itself is in your machine only. But in case of a slave as a separate individual, the actual job will be running on here itself. If you specify any agent of an external system, how do you configure Jenkins agent? Means there is a something here, minus Jenkins. I think somewhere here it should be. Okay, our job got failed, it seems. Let's see what is that. Okay, not here. Under the tools, integration, installer. Okay, here. Nodes. Here I do have only one built-in node. Built-in means the host itself. The current node is nothing but a master. That information is 36 GB of space, 4 GB of RAM, and free disk is this one. Okay. And I tried to add another slave here since I just created it. So if you want to create any add node, what you need to do is you have to give your node type Java worker. This is my node name. Okay, and this should be homeland. I don't want to copy the existing one. It is going to create it, and Java worker, the number of executors means the it's like a CPU threads. For example, you have a 4 CPUs or i5. It may have a 2 or 3 CPUs or 4 CPUs, right? Each one is a 1 CPU. Similarly, in the Jenkins language, we use executors. One executor will execute a one job. For example, in your slave, meaning in your Java worker node, if you have a 3 executors, your node is capable of running 3 parallel jobs. Since you have configured 3 executors, if I configure 2, your node will have only capability of running 2 parallel executors. I mean 2 parallel jobs, because executors count is a 2 here. Okay, and if you have any specific root directory for the Jenkins, meaning what we do is when we configure how do we configure this one means we have to install one jar into the slave mission. So slave mission automatically connect to the master mission because of installing this particular jar here. So this is how it will auto configure some information. Okay, and where is this? Yeah, and while connecting it, if there is any repository root directory, you can just give, otherwise fine. And use this node as much as possible, or use only build jobs with some labels here. Otherwise, please ignore it. If you remember here, we have been talking something called labels here.
The
Yes,
label
yeah.
spelling
It,
is
oh, sorry. Yeah, DEL. Label. My label 1 and my label 2. If you specify these kind of things, what you do is you would be defining, where is this? Yeah, here if you specify these things, it will ask you what are the labels. That's the information you would be configuring here. Okay, and other than that, there should be one more authentication mechanism should be mentioned here. Internal directory removing. Keep this agent as much as possible. I don't want pass any of the environment variables. Actually, there should be authentication method should be present here. But fine. I mean, basically, this is how you would be creating a slave, and it will keep on configured where I mean keep on checking whether this is really been configured or not here. That's why it is shown this one. I mean into mark, which means the availability was not been ready. Now here it is the status is offline. Somewhere we have to give ask for the authentication. How do you connect, whether it is SSH or passwordless or username password based something. But fine, since we don't have any of the VMs, right, we did not configure, but this is the purpose. I mean, once you created extra VM and then configure the Jenkins slave, I mean nodes, then you would come here and then in the source code you would define particular label information. Label information here. Okay. Now let's back to our pipeline, guys. Okay, this is the pipeline, and these are the stages which we have. Can you explain me what this guy is doing? I mean, what this inline of this guys? Can someone walk me through, please? I mean, because this would help us. If please try and fail it, no problem at all. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, Kaushik. Go
they're
ahead.
just using so basically the agent is a Docker machine.
Okay.
Maven 390.
Okay.
Not sure with the arguments. I think they want to run it with the root privileges. I'm not familiar.
Okay.
And then different build stages:
Okay.
build, test, and deliver. So build, test, and deploy, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Right. Exactly. Delivery is nothing but the
So
deploy in our terminology.
yeah, yeah. So Maven build, skip test, and clean package.
Okay. Okay. What does it mean is, yeah, please go ahead. Continue. I'll explain you.
And then the test phase has started, and I think they have installed Juniper,
Okay.
and the reports are stored as an XML.
Okay. Right.
And then the deploy stage, deliver.sh. Yeah, not sure, not familiar.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good. You whatever you said is correct. Except they are using a JUnit
Okay,
for
okay,
their
JUnit. Okay,
test cases and storing the test result. And this one, right? For the Docker, this image is a Maven 3.9.0, and it required some volume to be attached. For example,
okay,
for the Maven repository, what it is doing, they are mounting a volume of the left-hand side is your local system. And then you are mounting this Maven to local repository through Docker container repository. If 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 Maven, I mean, if Docker does not find any of the M2 repository, it will fail it. So whoever is created this Maven repository, Maven Docker image, they are intentionally saying that please mount your local volume to container volume, that is especially Maven repository, so it won't be failing. That is how their Docker image has been defined. If some Maven Docker images doesn't require it, because it will maintain its own it will maintain its own this guy. I mean, it will maintain its own repository. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, another thing is that we need to understand is for delivering, meaning for deploying it, what they have done is they have write everything in a shell script. Okay, and they are directly executing this shell script from the single step. Let's see what these guys are doing in the Jenkins. Mm, wait. Okay, and this is the one. Here is the scripts. Under the scripts, deliver.sh. Okay, this is a plain shell script. They are just echoing it and then just setting the -x, which means a debug mode. They just enable the debug mode. What they are doing is npm jar install on something. It's all Maven related command. What they are doing is they are generating a jar, and then again they stopped the debugging information. Again they started debugging information, and here they are just displaying the what is the project name from the form.xml. That is what they are doing. Again, simply they are grabbing the version from the form.xml using a Linux command. Finally, they are running a jar command. There are only 4 steps here. On the 4 steps, first one is creating a jar. From the jar, from the jar, they are running it. Apart from that, they are just displaying the version of the Maven project and version of the project they are just displaying. That's it. Even they can directly copy paste all these main commands and then keep it something like this. For example, I'm commenting out here, fetch space here. This is a jar creation, and then I'm using sh module. And the sh module, I'm gonna use jar again. This is it. This is the non-bit. Apart from that, what they are doing is they are just displaying some information using some name. They are storing some values under the name variable. and then later on it will just display it. I mean, it won't even, they are not displaying also. I don't know why. Generally, what they should have done is the space, co, name, they would have done something like this, because I don't know where they have been using it. And the next one is they were just been displaying the version. They are storing the version as well. And the sh, so version here. That's it. So this is how alternately you can do, or else put everything in a single shell script and then execute execute like directly like this. Okay, this is how you would be defining your pipeline of the deployment steps. Okay, and any questions, guys? Kaushik, I think I mean, you explained right. So this we have to understand and then see something. Now let's see why my build got failed here. So far looks good. It's downloading it, it's packaging it, and everything is fine. Looks downloaded all the central repository and finally failed at the Git publisher space. See this guy, I told you earlier, while configuring something. Apart from this, what this guy is saying is Git tool is none. Download total time build failure, because why this is execution default plugin. Okay, could not find Cobertura Maven plugin 2.7. It could not find an artifact of this guy because of this. So this is an error which was being faced and finally failed it here. Okay. And another one is also compile is successfully, but another one is git publish is also failed because it is required to run this basic information and all. That's why it failed. Two issues in this freestyle job. Okay, the first one is it's not able to download one dependency. That's a Maven issue, and what we can do is either fix it or remove that dependency from your pom.xml. Either you can do either of these. Okay, and another one is git publish was not been successful because we should be configuring this. Okay, we can skip for that part. And yeah, but I hope you understand the glimpse or the basic thing about the information or how we have to configure the pipeline. Please confirm me. I want everyone's confirmation before going forward. I'm waiting for you guys. Please let me know. And then we can directly start with the Jenkins part as well here. I mean, sorry, the pipeline part here. I want a confirmation, guys. Assuming if you don't give a confirmation, I'll assume everything is working fine. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sai. It's clear. Okay, Shalanya, thank you. Fine. Let me try to do something here itself. Again, go to the dashboard, click on new item, select my Maven pipeline. Under the Maven pipeline, use pipeline here, and then click OK here, and then this is my pipeline. And this is a GitHub project. That's fine. Here is the your focused area here. Okay. This is where you would be copy and paste your pipeline part. So, okay. Let's use as it is. Otherwise, you can use any of the existing helpers to create a pipeline here. For example, I want a combination of GitHub plus Maven. Okay. So this is how it will tell you. Okay. this is required. What it is going to do is, as we mentioned, let's try to understand this again, guys. Again, same thing. Under the pipeline, you have to define a pipeline block. Under the block, you can define an agent, which is required parameter, and the stages block, which is required another parameter. Under the stages, you have a multiple steps. Under the under the stages, you have multiple stages. In the stages, you do have a multiple steps here. The steps are the first one and the post steps here. Okay. Under the steps, you just give a clone git called clone, and then you just give this information, and then sh, which will run your maven shell command. After that, you just publishing your test results and then publishing your artifacts also. This is a simple one. You can include whatever we required. Okay. If you want to see how a scripted pipeline, you just mention here. So simply node, you just define your node, a definition of the MVN home directory, and it required one more stage called preparation stage, another stage called build stage, and another stage called the result. If you expand here, this is what you just define here is, you just need to define your Maven project and then use the Maven home directory, just defining all the preparation statements. Like you have to tell what is repository, what Maven tool you have to use it. Under this, you are just defining all the Maven related commands here, meaning they are just defining like if it is a Linux or Unix, they are using this shell module. If it is a Windows, they are using a bat module, which is a PowerShell of Windows. Okay, and it's using a Maven home directory path. That's why you have to configure a MVN home directory before running this. Okay. Under the results directory, you are just publishing your test results and jar file. This is a scripted pipeline. Similarly, if you write here something declarative pipeline, this is how it looks like. I hope you understand. This is a very simple one, I could say. What we do now is, okay, let's run this is alone here. So we'll try to understand if there is any something here. Okay. If we want to know the syntax, okay. If you want to know any specific syntax, right, you just create, you just define the steps that you want to define here and then validate all your syntaxes here. Okay, instead of testing it and failing it here, you can click on here and see the syntax, all the information here. Okay. Now what I'll give you is, is it clear, guys? And then I'm saving it here and then configuring it, not configuring it, then build now. Okay, it's run and it failed also. Let's see what is this. Okay, it is saying M3 is not configured. Please do. Okay, MVN Maven 3. I mean, it's not able to find the Maven. That's why it is doing it out. And let me configure the Maven. Do I? Let's see the configuration again. I mean, it's basically failing because it's not able to found, you know, not able to found the M3 variable, Maven M3. That's why it is showing here. we have to configure this and name it as a M3. Okay, let's do that point. No to specified here. So just a minute. I'm just going to remove this tools section because I don't want any tools to be installed. But the thing is, if you want to install any specific tools here, for now, later on, we will include the tools section also. Okay, it's trying to do that. Recording the steps, no suitable publisher not found, build is success, but it is an unstable data string because previous build got failed, right? Yeah, so finally, these are the test results. This has only one phase. This is the fifth build that we have just run it. and this is the tar file which we can download it as an artifact here. Okay, and totally it took I mean 1 minute 16 seconds. You can find the logs here, and this is where you can generate, I mean, download the jar, which is an artifact here. Okay, this is just we have used existing sample pipeline job. Okay, I'll show you. I mean, what we do is we will write a few more pipelines and then understand and then try to use it. So now I'll look at the proper Jenkins file now. I mean, proper Maven Java process. I'll try to find it instead of depending on the sample projects. I'll try to find out one of the Java Maven project, which we will use for the Jenkins to trigger. Okay. But this is the one where you can download. Yeah, this is it from today, guys. And tomorrow we'll write a few more pipelines and then understand the complex one also. Okay. Any questions, guys? For declarative pipeline script, the file name can be any. No, I could say, because it is a standard practice there. We can define our pipelines to be our pipeline names to be Jenkins file. Okay. Otherwise, right, what will happening is you have to specify what exactly the file path. For example, if you give Jenkins file Narendra from the source code management. Okay. If the either you write a inline pipelines. Okay. If you mention this is an inline pipeline script, but if you write your pipeline which is in the source code management tool, you have to tell whether it is a Git and the Git repository URL, Git credentials, and then which branch, and finally what is the script path. For example, if your Jenkins file is under the test folder or scripts folder, you would mention all this part. This is how you mention. It can be anything, but the thing is you have to be cautious. Like in the you have to choose this one instead of a inline pipeline script. Yes, Anip, I think. Oh, you asked. Okay, fine. Yeah, any questions, guys? Yeah, tomorrow we would be writing some more pipelines here. Okay. Yeah, this is it for today. I'm done for today. Please let me know if you have any questions, guys. But this is important, guys. You have to at least write and get handy and then get fail and then try to fix it. That would definitely required. Otherwise, you can't able to answer. Even you can tell some definitions in interview, but you would be failing if they ask you to write or ask you to write in a notepad or some paper. So you should be get a handy about it. Okay. Yeah, this is it from my side, guys. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll meet tomorrow at 7:30. Okay. Today I do have some personal work, so I had moved it to 7. For tomorrow, 7:30 is fine. We can meet at the 7:30. Okay, guys, that's it. Hope this